In Chapter 4, Season 4, we are introduced to a time machine used by Kato Thorne, which I am going to answer two questions, and one of them is a two-part question. What is powering the time machine? And what could it lead to for a live event, alongside with it connecting to Chapter 5. There's a lot to talk about, so let's dive in. Let's start with what's powering it, Part 1. There's something I noticed this season compared to other seasons straight away, and that is that we have no kinetic weapon at all. First season we got the shockwave hammer, kinetic shockwave hammer. Next season we got the kinetic katanas, and then last season we got the kinetic boomerang. But we have no kinetic weapon this season. So I'm starting to wonder if the time machine is being powered by kinetic ore. And before everybody says it couldn't possibly do that, we don't know the limits of kinetic ore. We were introduced to it this chapter, and we don't know its full properties. So the possibility of it being able to be used to power up a time machine could open up a lot of things. And it could have powered up other objects in the past, but we don't know yet. I want to make a theory over that, but just keep with me here that we don't know much of the kinetic ore properties. All that, other than that, it basically can launch us like a shockwave grenade. And it was used to make certain weapons. It was even used to make the Rift Gate. But it could also be used to work as a time machine. But we don't know much about it, but I felt like maybe kinetic ore, because each season has a theme of kinetic ore. But I want to open up a possibility that it's not kinetic ore. With part 2 of the question of what's powering the time machine, 0 point energy. I want to bring back a totally fan favorite season, not really, it was most hated because of a certain vehicle. Season X. Yep, the season with the mechs. I'm bringing that up for this specific reason. That season was basically time travel, or at least introducing the possibility of it, with how Neo Tilted was turned into Tilted Towns, an old western theme, or how we got Pleasant Park, but it seemed like it had elements of season 6 with the zombies. There was a lot of stuff that it brought, including brought back the cube with the floating island. It brought a lot of stuff to the island, introducing time travel or time paradoxes, which means 0 Point has time traveling capabilities. So what if Kato Thorne is using some 0 Point shard or its energy, which could be powering the time machine, which would make a lot more sense than kinetic ore, but I wanted to bring that up because it has, to me, a possibility, because we haven't really scratched the surface with kinetic ore. After all, we know because of the Rift Warden that it could be used to open a Rift Gate from what we saw of it and were able to use from the rocks that we can hit. It seemed like it could not do that. So I wanted to open up that possibility. But if they're using 0 Point energy, that is bad, because last season Optimus Prime was telling us the energy that flowed through our island is fading. And if the energy being used from the 0 Point for the time machine is going to be bad, because the last reality could be on their way, causing the destruction of the island, which means that we might have to use the time machine, which leads me to my next question. What will the time machine lead for a live event and possibly the next chapter? I believe the time machine is what they're going to be after, trying to change one of the biggest events that could have destroyed the island, and got what they wanted from the very start. With maybe using the asteroid, who knows? So maybe in the process, maybe Geno might return with Agent Jones, and as a last resort have to destroy the time machine, but the time machine doesn't really destroy the island fully, but rearranges it and leads us to chapter 5, where I think each location will have a different time effect. Top right hand corner could be the volcano. Top left hand corner could be Coral Castle. The middle could be Authority. The towards the bottom, Tilted Towers, and all that. Polar Peak. We could see old locations back with a new team of heroes and maybe some old skins being remade to be people trying to fix the time effects, like how Season X had time bubbles. I feel like we might see that again in the next chapter, which I would like to call Chapter 5, Season 1, Fractured Time. I think that would be a really interesting concept of us trying to fix time paradox around the island with old/new characters to help with Geno, Midas, Jones, Amy, Sloan. Well, scratch Amy. We have no idea where she is. I'm not worrying about that at all. But I feel like next chapter could have something to do with time travel. After all, they did introduce it this season. And I do believe we can try to fix past mistakes with the time machine. They could also add in quests for Chapter 5, Season 1, where we learn characters' histories like Midas, Geno's, Foundation's, anybody's. But I feel like the time machine has a bigger effect of the story moving forward than we all realize. And who knows, maybe they're sending in the 7 to try to use the time machine, but Paradigm somehow pops up and helps Geno because she has to, causing all those effects to happen. But anyways, that's my personal theory around it, and I hope you guys did enjoy. Thank you for watching. My name is BB18 Gaming. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace!